Cool. So we will be discussing about type conversion today, and then we'll get started with Python string. And for quiz, when we will be covering Python list, so string and list quiz together, we will be having the quiz once we'll finish string and list, Python list and Python string, and then I'll collectively have a quiz for both of these two. Cool. So let's get started. So today's topic is type conversion. So we'll see what is type conversion and then types of type conversions in Python and then what is typecasting. So people often get confused between type conversion and typecasting. So let's see that how they are different. Talking about type conversion. So type conversion is basically changing the data type of an object. So when we change the data type of an object, then that is known as type conversion. And there are two types of type conversion. First is implicit type conversion, and second is explicit type conversion. And the explicit type conversion is something which is known as typecasting. Now, what are these implicit and explicit type conversion? Let's see these one by one. So when we talk about implicit type conversion, so in implicit type conversion, the Python interpreter automatically converts one data type to another without any user involvement. So what I mean by this is that, let's say if I am having a variable a equal to 12 and then b equal to, let's say, something in float 13.2, and when I will do c equal to a plus b. So what will happen? So here implicit type conversion will happen, and when I'll be printing the value of c, it will be in points. It will be like 25.2, right? So it is not, uh, you know, um, it is not ignoring the point in the b variable, whereas it is just converting 12 into the floating number and then adding both of these two, and then final result is in float. So here explicitly we haven't used any keyword or we haven't commanded interpreter to do it, explicitly. Hence, it is known as implicit. So implicit means whenever the type conversion happens automatically, then it is known as implicit type conversion. Not talking about uh, explicit type conversion. So for explicit type conversion, the explicit type conversion from one data to another data type, when we do it manually, then it is known as the explicit type conversion. Now, in order to change the data type from one data type to another data type, we have Python provided functions, uh, and those functions are basically these functions, right? So when you do the type conversion using these functions, then that is known as explicit type conversion. So let's see that in the code. How does it basically happen? Okay, so first of all, first case that I have shown you. So let's say a equal to 12, b equal to some 13.2, and then I am doing print before that c equal to a plus b, and when I'm doing print c, then if I'm running this program, the output is 25.2. So here the implicit type conversion is happening from int to float type. Hence, it is known as implicit type conversion, right? Now, talking about explicit type conversion, let's say we have a equal to 12. Okay, so a is right now string data. It is having the string data type, right? Now, when I will basically print a, or before, okay, print a, and then I'm printing type of a. So it will basically give me the output as 12, and then it will show the type, data type of this variable, which will be str. So it is of string data type. Now I want to convert this string data type into integer data type. So what will I do basically? I will, let's say if I am defining that in another variable b, so I will do int of a, and instead of print a, I'm using b. Now in this case, when I'll run the program, so in the output, you can see it is still printing 12, but the data type of b in this case becomes int, right? So that is where the explicit type conversion is happening, which is known as typecasting, and it has been done using this particular function that is there in Python. I mean, it is provided by Python by default. Okay. Now there are, lot of other things. I mean, there are a lot of possibilities in this. Let's say if I have defined a equal to 12, and then in this case, when I'll print a and the type of a, it will be integer type, right? So if I'll run this program, it is printing integer type, and now I want to do it reverse way, right? So this is the integer type, and I want to convert it back to the string, or I want to treat it as a string. So what I will do, I will use str function here, str of a, and here if I use print b and then type of b, now what will happen in this case, when I'll run, the output is 12, and the resultant data type of b is showing as string data type. Now there are few other possibilities. For example, if I am taking a equal to 97, so this is an integer type, right? Now there is one more method, chr method. So chr method is basically used to convert this number. I mean, it will basically convert this number and the equivalent of this number in the ASCII table. So whatever character is equivalent to this ASCII number 97, it will be assigned to this variable b. So when I'll run this, you can see here it is printing a. So a is basically the equivalent of ASCII code 97. So 97 is basically converted into the ASCII, the equivalent character, which is a. But when we are printing the data type, so data type of b is still a string str, right? Because there is no separate data type as chr in Python, and anything, right? Any character is still of data type str. Hence, in the output, you can see it is printing class as str type, right? And similarly, opposite is also okay, not opposite. Let's say we'll take one more example. Let's say if I'm converting it into the Boolean type. So Boolean type, when I'll do this, in this case, any value, any number is true except 0. So it is basically printing true, and the final data type is BOOL. If I'll give it as 0, and when I run my program now, it will print false, because any number except 0 is true. So here we are explicitly doing this. Hence, this is known as explicit type conversion or typecasting. Now, with respect to sequence data type, let's say if I'm defining any list. So this is my list. And if I am doing this, printing this list, and then type of this particular this variable, it is printing list, and it is in the output, it is printing me the list type, right? Now let's say if I want to convert this list type into tuple. So what I will do, I will use tup. Let me change it in the print statement itself rather than taking a separate variable. So I'll use tuple, tuple, and type of, let's say here also I'm giving tuple. Now in this case, when I'll run my program, it will convert this list into a tuple, and the data type will be of class tuple. You see this? This is how it is converting. Now there are some rules here in this, where you can convert some data type to another data type, and there are some possibilities where you cannot do that. So I have one screenshot from my notes. So I'll share it with you later on in the group. You can refer that screenshot and you can try out different possibilities. So it is a very exhaustive list, a very extensive list, where I have taken each and every use case from converting one data type to another data type, all possible data types that are available in Python. So I'll share that with you after this session. You can go through that and you can figure out what all is possible with respect to explicit type conversion. Okay, so this is about type conversion. So we have officially completed Python level 1 training. Now we will start Python level 2. Now in Python level 2, first thing that we are going to study is strings. Okay. Okay. Let me start a new mind map. Let me create a new mind map and we'll see what all thing we are going to cover in Python string. Cool. Now for any data structure, whether it's a Python string, list, tuple, set, dictionary. So everything we will be going to cover as part of Python data structure training. We will see the CRUD operation in every data type. CRUD means how to create it, how to retrieve it, how to update it, and how to delete it. Now there are various possible combinations with respect to create, retrieve, update, and delete. So we'll see those things and how we can apply CRUD operation on all these data types. That is what we are going to see. Okay. So first thing that we are going to see here in this Python string is creating a string. So how to create the strings. Okay. Second is our retrieval. So retrieval will basically cover the string indexing and slicing. String indexing and slicing. How do we index the string and take the substring by using the slicing. Then third thing is updating the string, and next thing is deleting the string. Okay, so this is about CRUD operation. Then we will see what all operators we can apply on a string, and then important string functions and important string methods. So there is a difference between string functions and methods, right? So I'll come to that once we'll start important string functions. So this is the overall plan on the string, Python string. So let me open the slides for Python string. Okay, let's see what are Python strings first. So a Python string is an array of byte representing Unicode characters. Okay, so it is basically an array of characters. And one of the most important points that you might have heard in many languages is that Python strings are immutable. So why Python strings are immutable? I'll prove you why it is immutable. So immutability means once you have create the string, its value cannot be changed. Okay, so I mean, what does it mean and what it signifies? So I'll cover that. And as I have already told you, right, in Python, we don't have a separate character data type. So a single character is simply a string with length 1. Okay. Now, first part. Okay, before that, let's see the immutability, right? So how we can say that Python strings are immutable. That thing we are going to see. So let's say if I am creating a string as equal to Python. Okay, so right, I have told you all the variables are created as an object. So here, what will happen? I will create, it will create an object with Python as a value inside it, and s will be the reference variable which will point to this object. Now let's say in my next line, I will do s equal to Python plus again. So what will happen? It will concatenate a string, and instead of creating, the new string, this particular value of s becomes Python again. So it doesn't mean that the value of this particular Python will change as Python again. What it means is that it will create another object with the value Python again inside it. And now the reference variable s, instead of pointing to the old object, so it will dereference from here and it will point to the new object. So this is how Python strings works, and this is how the Python strings are immutable. Another way to check is that, so if you'll try to assign any character or change or update the character at any index, let's say one index, if I'll do it like this in my code, it will throw error. So this proves that Python strings are immutable. You cannot change the string character at any particular index by doing this. I'll cover this later on, but before that, you need to understand what is Python indexing and how do you retrieve the Python string. So this part I'll cover it later. But this is one of the strongest thing that you can showcase anyone to prove the Python immutability. So you cannot change the character in the existing string. You cannot update it because of the Python string immutability characteristic. Okay, cool. Now, first part that we want to see is how do we create these strings. So we will see how do we create these strings. Now, to understand how do you create these strings. So strings creation can happen in three ways. First is using single quotes. Second is using double quotes. And third is using triple quotes. So I have covered this partially when we were discussing about print statement, right? So printing using single, double, and triple quotes. So the same concept lies here also, because when we were discussing about print statement, we were discussing when we were talking about the quotes. So there we were, representing a string value. Hence the same concept, applies here also. So you can create a string using these three ways. So s equal to Python, and then s1 equal to Python, and then s2 equal to, so I'll use triple quote using three single quote, Python, and s3 equal to using triple double quotes, I'll use Python. So all these are valid way of creating a string. So this is how you can create strings in Python. Now there are some tweaks in this, right? Or there are, I would say there are rules in it. What are the rules? So when we are creating using single quotes, so when you are creating the string using single quote, the rule says that uh, we cannot use another single quote in it, but if we want to use, we have to use escape sequence, right? And second rule says that double quotes can be used inside the single quote. And for double quotes also, the same rule applies. It's just the vice versa. So for double quotes, when you are creating the strings using double quotes, you cannot use another double quote inside it. But if you want to use double quotes inside it, you have to use escape sequence. But you can use single quotes inside it. So let's see that. So, okay, let me do some printing also here. Print s print S1, S2, S3. Okay, so when I'll run this program, it will print everything. Python, 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 Python. Okay. Now let's say in double quotes, if I use single quote and if I'll run the program, see it, you are able to use single quote inside a double quoted string. But if I'll use double quote here, you will see you will get the error, right? Now, in order to remove this error, you have to use escape sequence. So before using double quotes inside double quoted string, you have to use escape sequence, and escape sequence can be used by backward slash. Okay. So backward slash and forward slash का भी concept I have told you. Forward slash is used for division. Backward slash is used for escape sequence. Now if I'll run this program, you can see in the output, I'll be able to add double quotes. Okay. Similarly, in single quote, here I can use double quote. If I run the program, it will print double quote. But if I'll try to use single quote inside it, I cannot use it. And in order to use single quote, I have to use backward slash and it should run fine. Also, backward slash should be used just before the single quote which you want to include, right? So you cannot use backward slash before the last quote because that is the last quote, the last single quote is the termination of the string. It denotes the termination of the string. So be careful when you are using the this escape sequence. Be mindful that where exactly you have to use it. Okay, so this is single quote. Now in triple quotes. So in triple quotes, you can use single quote also. So if I'll run it, it is using, I can use single quote also and double quote also I can use. Okay, double quote. Similarly, in double quote also, I can use single quote and I can use double quote also. Both of these work. Now, there is one point to remember here. So this double quote, if I'll use at the last, it will still hold true. It will run fine. But if I'll use single quote at last, it will throw error. Why it is throwing error here in this case? Because if you look closely, instead of triple quote, it become quadruple quote or quadra quote, right? Four quotes are there. So you have to be very mindful even in triple quotes when you want to use triple quotes, single quotes inside triple quote or double quotes inside double, triple quotes. You have to be very mindful that accidentally you don't make the quadra quotes. As soon as you are making it quadra quote, error will come. So if I'll put a space here, it will go off. And if I'm running it, it will still, print the same. Similarly, here also, here in this case, you are seeing, right? As soon as double quotes become quadra quote, error comes, right? Single quote I can use because it is not becoming quadra quote. But double quotes, as soon as I'm using double quote, it is becoming quadra double quotes, which is not allowed. And you have to basically either put a space or second way, you already know, right? You can put a escape sequence. So these are some of the tricky things you have to practice, and then you will be able to make out these, small things. So this is about string creation in Python. Second thing, or next thing is retrieval or reading. So before we study about retrieval of string, let me, okay, delete this everything and just keep one. Let's say Python. What happens that when I'm creating any string, so Python I'm creating, right? So indexing happens. So P index starts from 0, then 1, 2. Let me, okay, like this. So P index is 0, then 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is how the index of the characters are decided in Python. Okay, I missed y actually. So y is at 1 and then 2, 3. Okay, let it be. And negative indexing is also there. So negative indexing means the last character is assigned with negative index -1, -2, and so on towards left hand side. So this is how the indexing of indexing within the string happens. As I said, right, a string is an array of bytes representing Unicode characters. Hence, these are indexed, right? Now, in order to retrieve any character of the string, you just have to use, let's say, s and then square bracket and then particular index. If you will give, let's say, I'm giving index 2. So it will retrieve the character at index number 2, which is 0, 1, 2. It will print T. When I'll run this program, it will print T, right? And if, let's say, I want to see the type of it, so type of it is always a string only because there is no separate character data type in Python. So type, you can see it is type string str. Okay. So this is about retrieval. Now, okay, I can retrieve using minus index also. So if I'll give -2, so -2 from right hand side, if I'll start -1, -2, so -2 pe O is coming. So when I'll run this program, it will print O. Now what happens, let's say, if I give any index which is not present in that current string, let's say I'm giving 12, right? In that case, error will come, index error will come, showing that string index out of range. Okay. So this is about string indexing. So यहाँ पे we have covered string indexing. Next thing is slicing. So string indexing, you know, picks up a particular character, and using string slicing, we can pick substring from a given string. And it is done using a array slicing method. So what is array slicing method? It is represented by square bracket and then we have two colons which we can use and then square bracket close. So using this we can do string slicing, and this is known as array slicing method. And in this there is a rule: minimum one colon is required to do this slicing basically. Okay, now let me go to the slide and cover more on string slicing. Okay. So string slicing. So there are, rules in the, slicing. What is the rule? First of all, the syntax is this particular thing, right? You will be giving the string and then X, Y, Z. So X represents starting index, which you will be including. Y basically denotes the ending index, which is excluded. And Z is the slice step, means on how many times you want to increment. Let's say if I have a string hello, and okay, before that, let me just write it down in the code. Let's say I'll take hello here and S from, let's say, 1 to 4 I'm writing. What it will do, so it will start, so this is the start index. This will be start index. Next is end index. This is end index, and end index is included. So you don't have to, sorry, excluded. So you don't have to include the last end index. Matlab character 4, whatever will be the character at fourth index, you don't have to include it. You have to include the character just one less than the end index, right? And as I said, right, for this array slice method, minimum one colon is required. So we have provided one colon. One colon is missing. So in that case, Z is missing, right? So Z ka default value, Z is like slice step, which we have represented Z in our syntax. It is 1. So this is the default value for the slice step. So what will happen in this case? It will start from the start index 1. So 1 pe E is there. 2, 3 and fourth index पे O is there. So O it will not include. It represents the end index. So ELL. So when I'll run this program, it will print ELL. See, it is printing ELL. This is how slicing happens, and slicing basically used to retrieve substring from within a string. Not talking about uh, the rules that basically is there. Okay. And default value, okay, let's talk about the default value also. So ZX ka default value is basically slice step when it is not given. The default value is 0. Y ending index, if it is not giving, default value is the length of the string, and slice step is 1. Now if we are using uh, negative slicing, in that case, the default value of X becomes -1. Default value of Y becomes minus length of string -1, and slice step becomes again, so slice step also becomes -1 in that case, right? Cool. So let's see how, okay, let's take the example of negative slicing also. Here, if I'm giving -1, -4, so it will start from -1, which is -1 ये वाला है, -2, -3, -4, ये it will not include it. And slice step becomes -1. Actually, not +1, it will be -1. So it will print in a reverse order, right? From -1 to -4 it is going. So it will print OLL in a opposite manner. Okay, very good. What happened? Uh, it's not printing anything. Uh, okay, OLL. Okay, so the thing is that, okay, -4. Okay, I got it. What is happening is that, so when you are giving two values here, na, so it will take slice step as the last value. -1, it will take, I'll come to that later. So you have to explicitly mention this particular thing. When not mentioned alongside of -1, -x and -x y value. So -1 you have to explicitly mention it. What happens if you'll mention 1 here? In that case also it will not print any output. Okay, so there are rules of it, right? So let's talk about these rules. Okay, let's take these rules one by one. When we have positive slice step, first condition we are checking, then default value becomes, for X it becomes 0, for Y it becomes a string length. Let's call it as len, and output, and if X is less than Y, then only output will come, otherwise no output will come. Okay, it will look confusing. Let's see that in example. We'll take positive slice step. Okay, and uh, this we are doing. So in this case, what is happening? We have already seen the output, right? So when we are running it, ELL it is giving. So if you'll read comment में it is showing that x should be less than y, then the output will come. So यहाँ पे this is x, right? And this is y. So x is less than y, that is why you will be able to see the output. Agar if I'll make x greater than y, and if I'll try to run now, it will not produce any result. Even if I'll give this slice step, it will not produce any result. What happen if I'll give the slice step as -1? So it is basically from 4 to 1 it is going, but in a negative way. That is why it is printing OLL. Okay. Now second case, let's see the second case. Okay. Second case is saying that if the slice step is not mentioned. Okay. Okay. First case में slice step was positive. So we haven't taken positive value. Okay, we have taken the positive value and we have seen that, right? So uh, that is the thing. Second, let's say if the slice step is not mentioned, so I am removing the slice step. Then default value becomes, start index, which is 0. End index becomes string length. But here we are mentioning it. And x should be less than y, otherwise no output. That also we have seen, right? यहाँ पे x is greater than y, hence the output will not come. X has to be less than y. So in this case, output will come. So ये वाला हमने, so we have seen this also and we have seen this also, both of these condition. Now let's see the negative slice step. So negative slice step में, when we have negative slice step and when x and y are not mentioned, then default value of x becomes -1. Default value of y becomes minus, string length plus 1, which is minus string length -1. And in this case, output will come whenever x is greater than y, otherwise no output. So what I mean is that let's take the step size as -1. So in this case, the x should be greater than y. Is x greater than y in this case? Is x greater than y? No, right? So jab x will not be greater than y, output will not be coming, right? So if I'll run this, no output is coming. So x has to be greater than y when we have slice step as negative. So in this case, when I'll run it, the output will come. And why this output is coming? So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So it is starting from fourth index, right? Starting index 4. And it has to go till 1. 1 will not be included and index is not included. And step size is negative. So it will go 0 LL. So that is why the output is coming 0 LL. Okay. So that is what this third condition says, that when slice step is negative, output will only come when x is greater than y. Let's take negative indexing also here. If I take -1, -4 and -1. So in this case, is x greater than y? No, x is less than y in this case, right? -4 is less than -1, right? So x is less than y. So in this case, output will not be coming, right? Because for output to be displayed, x should be greater than y. So if I'll run this program, no output is coming. But if I'll make it as -1 and -4, now in this case, x becomes greater than y because -1 is greater than -4. X is greater than y, which is fulfilling this condition, basically this condition. In this case, output will come as per the slicing, indexes that we are applying. So when I run this program, it will print OLL again. Okay. And we cannot give slice step as 0. It will throw error. It will say that value error slice step basically cannot be 0. Okay. So this is about the basics of slicing. Now what happens? I have told you that minimum 1 colon is required, right? And let's say in slicing, we can just provide like this, like this, like this. So how we basically decode these things, let's see that. Okay. Okay, let's just take the example of 1 colon, like this if I'm giving. So a way to decode is that you take the colon and then left hand side, right hand side, fill in the blanks. I mean, you just put the blanks. And then there is one more colon which should be coming. So you put one more colon by yourself and then again you put a blank. Now these are the x, y, and z values that you have to put. Now here, as these values are not explicitly mentioned, so you will be putting default value. So default value of x, what is the default value of x? It is 0. Default value of y is length of a string. So what is the length of a string? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I will put 5. And what is the default value of a step size? Step size ka default value is 1. So this expression will be equivalent to this particular expression 0, 5, 1. So 0, 5, 1 means it will take from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 तक लेगा. Fifth index है ही नहीं, so but it is denoting the end index. So it will basically print the whole string again. Same string it will print hello in the output. Okay. Now let's see that if you have mentioned 3 here. So what happens in that case? Uh, in that case, again, you apply the same logic. Colon is there. 3 is provided here. Colon के left में you put one blank space. Colon 3 के from right hand side of 3 there is no colon, so just put one colon just to make the syntax complete, and then put one blank. Now x and z value we need to provide. So default value of x is 0, default value of y is 1. So this expression will evaluate to this particular expression, and the output will be 0, 1, 2, and till 3 it will go, 3 will be excluded. So HEL should be the output if I'll run this program. See, it is printing HEL. Now, when numbers are not mentioned around colon, so I have told you, right? We have to draw a blank spaces toward left and right, and we have to start from left hand side. We have to start writing X, Y, Z. So, and we have to write down the default values, right? Let's say if we have something like this, okay? Then how we will decode this? Same concept. We draw the column, left hand side blank, right hand side again blank, and then we have this colon mentioned, right? So we'll put this colon, and then यहाँ पे 2 is mentioned, right? So now what we have to do is that we have to again put x here and y here. So x का default value is 0, y का default value is string length. I'll put 5. So this expression will basically equate to this particular expression. So it will start from 0. It will go till the whole length. And step size is 2 here, right? So it will take first h, then plus 2 l it will take, and then plus 2 o it will take. So HLO should be the output when I'll run this program. If I'll run this program, it is printing HLO. So this is how you basically decode, and there is a confusion. There might be a confusion. Some of you guys might have a confusion. Let's say if I'm giving this particular value, now you guys can get confused, right? So okay, we will go with that concept trick that I've told you. Colon banaya, then left hand side pe I will put blank space. Now यहाँ पे people get confused that another colon should I be putting here or should I be putting here, right? This confusion can come, right? But always remember that you have to start and put the column, I mean the missing column towards right hand side only. Left hand side you cannot put. So that is why you are putting colon on the right hand side, and then you'll put blank here. So this becomes Z, Y is the value, X is the left hand side value. So इधर पे 0 आ जाएगा and इधर पे 1 हो जाएगा. And this is how you will decode these, mysterious slicing tricky questions. So in this case, it will start from 0, 1, 2 तक जाएगा, 2 will be excluded. Output should be HE. Okay, the output is HE. So this is about string slicing. Now there is one tricky thing, not tricky thing. There is one very common thing that has been asked in the interviews, that how do you reverse the string? So reversing a string is very simple using slicing method. What do you have to do? You have to use 2 colons and then -1. Okay. What is happening in this case? So there are 2 colons. We'll put colon number first, left hand side blank, then right hand side blank, then second colon we are putting, and then -1 is the value. -1 is the value, which is Z, slice step. So when Z is negative and X and Y is there, so default value I've shown you in the table, right? When the slice step is negative, then the default value of X becomes -1, default value of Y becomes length, minus of length -1. So minus of length is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, minus of length is -5. -1, so becomes -6. So ये -6 हो गया. So how do we decode it? So ये -1 से it will start, it will go till -6. -6 is not there, so it will basically exclude. So it will include all the characters in the string, but in a reverse order, because step size is -1. So it will basically reverse your string. So if you run this program, it is reversing your string. So just remember that if someone basically asks you to reverse the string, this is the way. So there are two things, right? Print the actual string using slice method. How do we do that? We use s and then we will put like this. Sorry, like this. So this is printing the actual string, and then print the reverse string. So if you want to print the reverse string, you will be using s colon colon -1. Just remember this. So this will be applicable for string as well as list. So this is how we basically print the actual string as well as we reverse the string using slice method. Cool. Now I will come to, okay, immediately before that, next thing is updating the string. How do we update the string? Now, the thing is that strings are immutable, right? We have told, we have studied in the starting that strings are immutable. When the strings are immutable means, immutability means you cannot change the string. You cannot change the string by this sentence. If you will look towards this sentence, if you cannot change the string, that means you cannot update the string, correct? So string updation cannot be done. You cannot change the values in the string. How do we do that? Let's say s is hello, and if I'll try to give s and at, let's say, index 1, I want to replace the value of index 1 as f, and if I'll print s, let's see what happens. If I'll run this, it will throw error which says that string object does not support item assignment, which proves that you cannot update the string, which again proves that strings are immutable. Okay. So this again proves that strings are immutable in characteristics. Cool. Now we'll see deleting the string. How we can basically delete the string. Okay. Here also there come two parts. First is deleting a particular string, particular character. Possible? Not possible, right? We cannot do that, because if we'll delete just one character, it is like updating the original string. Because of the immutability, you cannot do that. Second thing is that deleting complete string. Delete uh, the entire string. This can be done. Let's see how. So let me go back to this code, and okay, so in order to delete, we use the keyword del. So similarly, यहाँ पे if I'll use the keyword del to delete the character, any character in the string, and if I'll try to print this and run the program, it will again say it will again give the same error saying that str objects cannot support item deletion. But I can delete the whole string itself rather than just one character. If I'll do it like this, it will basically delete the string. If I'll run it, it will delete the string, and as I'm trying to print it, it will it will tell that name error, name as is not defined, because you have already deleted that string. Okay, so string altogether you can delete, and just one character if you try to delete, it will not happen. Okay, next thing is operators on string. Let's go to slide and see what are the different operators on string which we can use basically. Okay, arithmetical operators. So if we'll talk about arithmetical operators, only plus and asterisk you can use. How do we use plus and asterisk? So as you know, right? If I'll do print hi and then plus operator, which is known as concatenation here, and hello, if I'll do, it will print hi hello, right? So arithmetical operator में plus operator we can use. Minus, can we use minus? No, we cannot use minus here. It will throw error, unsupported operand type. And we can use uh, asterisk like this. If we'll run it, so it will print the repetition of the original string by 3 times, right? So these are the assignment operators that we can use on the string, arithmetical operator basically. Now in assignment operators, we can use equal to, plus equal to, asterisk, asterisk equal to, right? Not asterisk here, I would say, okay, asterisk is above, so asterisk equal to, I would like this, okay? Assignment, as you have seen, right? So assignment, so we are basically assigning the value. So यहाँ पे assignment operator is being used. Now another is plus equal. So plus equal means s plus equal word. And if I'll do print s, it will print hello world. So what it is doing basically, this basically means s equal to s plus word. Similarly, यहाँ पे if I'll use s asterisk equal to word, it will basically not happen, because with asterisk you have to use the number of times, because number is what it represents the repetition, right? So if I'll use it like this, and if I'll run it, it will print hello 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 3 times. Okay, so this is the usage of assignment operator. Okay, then let's say we are writing two strings, let's say ABC, and so this is S1, this is S2 equal to X, Y, Z. Now we are talking about comparison operator. ठीक है, comparison operator में, okay, and let's write S3 also again ABC. So comparison operator, if I'll do S1 double equal to S3, it will compare whether these two strings are equal. These are equal, so it will print true. And S1 is greater than S2. If I'll do X1 is greater than X2, it is telling false. Why it is telling false? Consider a dictionary, right? So whenever you are writing, you are looking in a dictionary. So ABC, the words from A basically will come first in the dictionary, right? So I mean, on the first page it will come. So let's define the pages, and then characters from X or Y or Z, later character, they will come later on in the dictionary, right? So let's say some 93 or 94 page. I'm just giving a hypothetical example here. So in that case, if you'll compare X, Y, Z and ABC, so whose page number is greater? If you are just taking the example of a normal English dictionary, I'm talking, not the Python dictionary. So in that case, page number 94 is greater than page number 1, right? Hence, if you are comparing the strings, so XYZ will be considered greater because इसका page number ज़्यादा है, and then ABC will be considered as lesser because its page number is less. So that is why when I am doing X1 is greater than S1 is greater than S2, it is printing false. Other way around, it will be true. Means if I'll do, okay, instead of that, let's say that is S1 less than S2. Yes, it is less than S2 because S1 ABC will have a lesser page number in the English dictionary than XYZ. So if I'll run this, it will print true. So this is about comparison operator. And logical operators we have seen, right? Logical operators we can apply. Uh, what are the logical operator? A, B, C, and X, Y, Z. So what will happen in this case? X, Y, Z, because X, Y, Z is something which will define the result of this particular expression, right? First false value defines the result. Otherwise, it will print. I mean, it will basically print the string by which the result of the expression is decided. So X, Y, Z here, and if I use OR here, so it will print ABC. Okay, that I have covered in yesterday's lecture, right? And then identity operator. Identity operator is not okay. So how do you use identity operator? Uh, let's say S1 equal to okay. Identity operator basically will denote whether the objects are basically same objects are referred. So when you are creating these two S1, S2 Python, so it will basically create Python one object. S1 will also refer to यहाँ पे it will be containing Python. S1 will basically refer to this object, and S2 when in the next line you are creating the same string, it will also refer to the same object, and then that is why when you are doing S1 is S2, that means either are S1 and S2 pointing to same object? Yet yes, they are pointing to same object. Hence the output is true. Then we have membership operator in. So membership operator means that also we have seen, right? In for loop also we have seen. And if I'll do like this py in S1 means it will check that this py is coming in S1 or not. Yes, it is coming. So in this case, it will print true. So this is about membership operator. You can use that on a string. Bitwise operators is something which you cannot use on a string. So this is about the operators that you can use on these strings. Next thing we will see will be important string functions and important string methods. So we'll take a 10 minutes break here. Tea, coffee break, bathroom breaks, and then we will basically meet after 10 minutes. I'm just starting the timer. Okay, cool. See you in 10 minutes. Hey everyone, welcome back. Okay, so we will be talking about important string functions and string methods. Okay, so there is a difference between functions and methods, right? So people often use it interchangeably. So what is the difference between functions and method? First, we'll see that. So when we talk about function and we are talking about, you know, functional languages like Python in this case. So here we define some, function A, B, C, and then uh, we are basically writing down the code inside that, right? So these are functions, but methods, when method comes into the picture, so there are, the concept of classes and object which comes into play. So inside classes, when you create something, reusable methods inside the classes, it's like function only, but functions inside the classes, when you create, so those are basically known as methods. And when you create the reusable piece of code altogether separately without any class, those are known as functions. Okay. Now difference is that in order to, let's say this is M1, method 1, this is M2, and this is F1, function 1. Okay. So the difference is that in order to access these methods, you have to use the reference of that class. So string is also is kind of a object, and the reference that you are creating a string variable are reference. So if you are creating any string s1, so for accessing these string methods, you will be using the reference s1, and then you are using m1 like this. So wherever you are seeing any reference of the string, and then after that you are using the dot and then some method name. So that means this particular thing is a method. Whereas in function, you don't use s1 dot f1. There here what happens is that you'll be using f1, and then string variable will be passed as an argument inside this. Okay. So this is the main difference between string functions and string methods. Okay. Now let's see what are string functions, different string functions and different string methods available in Python. Okay, talking about string functions first. So we will be seeing len function. Then we will see what is ORD function. Then we will see what is CHR function. Then we will see what is min and what is max. And then there are list, I mean these list, set, and tuple functions. Cool. So let's see what are these. Let's say I have taken as equal to uh, Python. So there is a function I'll use len, right? Len is a function. That's why it will accept s as an argument. And what len function do is that it will tell you the length of the string, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 characters. So when I'll run this program, it will print 6, which basically is used. So len is basically used to calculate the length of the string. Second is ORD function. So ORD function basically gives the Unicode representation of any character, right? Code point of the character, or ASCII equivalent, right? What I mean by that is that, let's say I want ASCII equivalent of character A. So it will basically give 97. So uh, Unicode sheet, I will open. This is very small. Let's see if I have attached that in my. It is not there. Unicode sheet, Python. So 97, if you are able to see, I don't know whether you are able to see. Okay, 97. See, 97 is represented by character A. So this is A. So ORD of any character basically gives the code point of that particular character. And there is a reverse of this code point also. I mean, if you are giving code point 97, then it will give the equivalent character for that. So that we basically do by CHR method, CHR function, sorry. So if I'll do CHR of 97, it will basically print A in the output. So if I run it, it is printing A. So ORD and CHR are uh, it basically represent Unicode representation, and it gives corresponding character from code point respectively. Now, if I'll, let's say, so ORD is basically for one character, right? Instead of one character, if I'll give the whole string S, it will throw error. It will throw error, type error. It will say that ORD expected a character, but a string of length 6 is found. So you cannot use ORD on whole string. It's just that you have to use that on a single string, a single character. Now min and max. So min and max, so Python is there. So let's say if I'll do min of Python, so it will give basically the minimum character, I mean the minimum, it basically gives the character with the lowest code point. So in Python, in the whole string, whatever is the lowest code point is there, it will give the corresponding character in that. So H is having the minimum code point, so that is why it is giving H. Let's write it down A, B, C, X, Y, Z here. So in this case, when I'll run it, it should give A. Max of S will give the highest code point, so here it will give Z. Again, you can use the analogy of dictionary, English dictionary that I've told you. Character A will be on the initial pages, so page number of character A will be lesser than the page number of character Z in the English dictionary. So in that way, you can think. So this is about sorry, min and max, right? Now, next one is we have covered this. Next is list, set, and tuple. So let's use list here. What it will do, it will basically typecast this S into list type. And what will be the output? It will create list where the element of list will be the individual characters in this particular string. So if I'll run it, you can see output is a list where each character is where each element is the individual character in that particular string. Similarly, we have set. Set may, again, it will convert it into set each character. And if I'll repeat any character here, A, B, A 4 times, it will just take one A out of these 4 because set represents unique element. You can see A is represented 1 time here, but instead of it, if I'm using list, so here A will be copied 4 times. Whatever time, I mean, how many times it is appearing in that string. Similarly, tuple will convert it into a tuple. And A will again be repeated here 4 times. It's just that the set is repeated. As for set, it will just take one out of many repetition. It will just consider one. Cool. So these are this is about a string function, important string function. Now let's talk about string methods. Okay. So string method, let me open the slides. Okay. So I have divided string method into 4 parts, right? First is count method. Second is index method. Let's see the count method. So here in this string, if I'll give s dot count I want to count total number of times A is appearing in this. So A is appearing 4 times. So when I'll run it, the output will be 4. Okay. Now here, if I'm talking about the argument, so count may, this count method, how many arguments I can have here in this? Okay. 1 second, someone has. Can you explain tuple again? Okay, I'll come to that sometime. Okay, tuple. What I am doing in tuple is that, so I'm doing print. I'm converting the string into tuple, so I will be using tuple word or tuple function, and I'll provide s inside it. So what it will do basically, it will convert this s into tuple. If I'll run it, the output is tuple. Okay, so difference between tuple and list, I will come to that when I'll cover list and tuple. But representation wise, tuple is represented by these circular brackets, list is represented by these square brackets. Okay, so this is the difference between tuple and basically list and set that I have just covered. Okay, so this is about count. Okay, what I was talking is that for count method, how many arguments this count method can take? How many arguments? If I'm talking about arguments, so it can take uh, one argument, it can take two arguments, and it can take three arguments. So ये वाला जो whatever this case we have seen here, it has taken one argument, right? And the output was coming as 4. Now let's see that if we'll take if count accepts two argument. If I give 1 here, so 1 basically represent start index, that you have to start counting the occurrence of A in this particular string starting from index 1. So in this highlighted string, it will find the occurrence of A. So in this, it is in this highlighted string, you can see the A is appearing 3 times, so the output will be 3 because 0th index and 1 index. I have given start index here 1. So that is why it will consider this highlighted string. And if I run this program, it will print 3. Similarly, 0, 1, 2, 3. I can give end index also. So 0, 1, 2. Okay, let me give 3 here. And so it will basically 0, 1, 2, and end index is not included. So 3 से पहले 1 index लेगा. So it will now count the occurrence of A in the highlighted string that you can see in the blue highlighted string. So in this case, it will print 2. You can see, right? Output is 2. So that is where I have just shown you that count can accept either one argument, two argument, or three arguments. Okay. And if let's say we give something which is not present here, let's say if I'm giving D here, in that case, it will give 0. It has not found D inside it and it will give 0. It will not give any error. Cool. Next method. And again, method you can see, right? I have explained you. So method, you use some reference variable and then you are using dot and then you are using method. So uh, hence you can say that count is a method which is being accessed by the reference s. Function में क्या होता था? String basically you basically use a string in the argument of that particular function. Okay. Next is index method. Okay. So index method is somewhat index. It basically gives the index of any character. So let's say if I'm giving s dot index and then index of, let's say A I want to give. And यहाँ पे भी index can take one argument, two arguments, and three arguments. So index of A when I'm giving, it will give, although there are four A's, it will give the index of the first A that is appearing. So first A is appearing at zeroth index. So it will be giving, it should be giving the output as 0 when I'll run it. Index of B if I'll give here, so it will be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. The output will be 4 in this case. Again, you can use one argument, two arguments. So let's use two argument. So I am giving the starting index as 2, that means 0, 1, 2. In this particular highlighted string, tell me the index of A. So it will give the index of A, first appearing A. So first appearing A is at index 2 itself. So when I'll run this program, output should be 2, right? And then uh, you can have and index also. So 1 and 3, so 0, 1, 2. In this particular highlighted string, what will be the index of A? It is again the first appearing index of A, which will be 1 in this case. So when I'm running, it is printing 1. So that's where I was talking about giving 1, 2, or 3 index basically in count and index methods. Okay, now let's next set of methods are swap case, upper, lower, capitalize, title, center. Okay, इसमें index, okay, index of Z. Okay, one more important point before we move. So in count, when the character is not present in the string, it was giving 0 as the output. But in index, if you are giving some character which is not present or which is not in the range, basically, or let me give some character which is not present at all. Let's say I am giving P. So in that case, it will give error. It will not, give any warning, or it will not produce 0 or something. So value error will come when the index of the character that you want to find is not present. Value error will come. Whereas in count, it was showing 0. Okay, important point. Okay, now let's see swap case. What is swap case? So swap case is basically, let me write Python here and print s dot swap case. So swap case, what it basically do? So it will make uppercase into lowercase and lowercase into uppercase. It will swap the case. So P uppercase will become lowercase p, and YTHON will become in uppercase. So when you run it, this will be the output, is swapping the case. Then we have upper method. So upper method will basically convert each and every character of this string into uppercase. So when I'll run it, everything will be printed in uppercase. Similarly, lowercase is basically used to convert the whole string into lowercase. See, output is in lowercase. Then we have capitalize. So capitalize, let's say this is Python I'm writing, and I'm using as dot capitalize. What it will do is that, so the first character of the first word, it will capitalize. It will make it in uppercase, and rest other will be, it will be like same. Why capitalize is being used? Because after full stop, so in English, you will start writing from the capital letter, right? This is Python, something like that you can think of. So this is to reflect this behavior, that the first character of the first word should be in capital. So that is where the capitalize is used. So if I run this program, it will print this is Python, where T is capital. Okay. So this is about capitalize. Then there is one more, title method. So what does title method do? So title method is like upper camel casing that I've taught you. So there it will not combine the words, but yeah, first character of every word will become in capital. letters. So this is Python. You can see T is capital, I is capital, P is capital. Okay. If I'll put a space here, what will happen? Again, if I'll put any number of space, title method will still capitalize this T. But if I'll use capitalize here, so in that case, it will not capitalize if we have spaces in the starting. So this is another, difference between capitalize and title method. Okay. Then we have ends with. Ends with. Okay, ends with, start with. So all these methods that I've mentioned on this slide are basically result in Boolean value, true or false. Okay. So we will see what ends with, start with, all these methods basically do. So let's say I have a word, a string as hello world. Last way I'll put an exclamatory symbol, and then I will ask s dot ends with. I'm asking whether this string ends with an exclamatory mark, exclamatory sign. So yes, if it is ending with exclamatory, it will print true. So when I'll run this, it is printing true. If I'll give something else, let's say D, it will print false in the output. Similarly, starts with is there, starts with, it will check whether any particular string starts with a particular character which I'll give. So if I'll give H here, it will print true. I can give HEL also here. It will again print true in this case. And then we have is lnum, is alpha, is digit. These three methods. Let's see what are these three methods. So is lnum basically checks if your string contains alphabets or numbers or both. Okay. So let me change it as is lnum. Okay. So is lnum will basically is lnum will check whether your string contains alphabets or numbers or both. Okay. We have is alpha. Is alpha method checks whether string contains only alphabets. And then we have is digit. Is digit checks whether all characters basically are only digits or only numbers, right? So let's see the first one is lnum. So is lnum, let's add. Okay, so as of now is lnum, if I'll do s dot is lnum. So is lnum, when I'll run this program, it will print false because it's containing a string. Yes, it is containing number. No, it is not containing, but no problem. But this exclamatory sign is a special character which is there. So that is why it is printing false. It will just check whether it contains a string and number. Apart from that, if it contains anything, it will print false. Let me remove it. If I'll run it now, okay, it is true because again, space is there. Space is also considered. Basically, it will consider false if there is a space. If I'll remove this space, if I'll run it now, it is printing true. Let me add few numbers also in between. If I run it now again, it is again printing true. So is lnum basically checks just for alphabets and digits. And for spaces also, it will give error. I mean, it will print false. Next is alpha. Is alpha, it will just check whether this contains just alphabet. Is it containing just alphabet? No. Output will be false. If I'll remove all the numbers and if I'll include space also, again false. If I'll remove the space now and if I'll run it now, it will be true now. So is alpha, just check for uh, basically it will just check for whether your string contains all the alphabets, just the alphabets, nothing else. Next is its is digit. Is digit will check whether all the characters are digit. No, they are not, so false. If I'll add some just digits here, it will be true in this case. Again, I cannot have a space here. If I'll add a space here and run it, it will print false. So is digit check whether all the characters in the string are just digits, nothing else. Okay, next set of methods are is lower, is upper, is space. So is lower checks if all the characters are in lower. So what happens, let's say if we'll run this on the just numbers, it will say false because it is just considering for the alphabet. So यहाँ पे if I'll give this alphabet and if I'll run is lower, it will print true because every character is there in lowercase. If just one character is there, let's say if I'm giving just one character here, it will print false. And if I'll give a space here, again, it will ignore the space, just it will be checking for the characters for the basically the casing. It will just check the character. So space can be added here. Okay. Next is upper. So is upper will check. Okay, here if what I will give, if I'll give these, then what will happen? So here in is lower, is upper, the special character and space can be accepted. Now is upper. So is upper will check whether all the characters are there in uppercase. So if I'll give is, if I use is upper on this string, it is printing true. As soon as there is a lowercase character here, it will print false. So this is about is upper and is lower. Then now next method we have is space. So is space will basically check whether there are all the spaces in the string. If you have just few spaces, it will give false. So everything in this string should be space, then only it will print true. So is space basically check if all the characters are white spaces. Otherwise, it will print false. Okay. Next is these set of methods: find, rfind, join, split, replace. Okay. In other important string method which you can explore on your own is decimal, is ASCII, is numeric. There are a lot many methods. I have just tried to cover as many as I can cover, but there are others also. So if you want to explore on your own, so do explore these methods also. And then, okay, now talking about next set of methods. Next set of methods are find, rfind, join, split, replace, strip, lstrip, rstrip. Okay, let's see what is find method basically. So find method and index method are basically same, but find method it does not throw any error if index is not found, right? We have seen that for index, let's say I have a string Python is there. Python is there. And then I was using s dot index, and I want to find the index of z here. Z is not here, right? So when I was running this program, it was throwing error, value error, correct? But in find, uh, uh, what happens is that it is same as index only, but it will not throw any error if the index of that character is not found. So instead of index, if I use find here, it will give -1 instead of error. So it gives -1. Rest other functionality is same as that of index. So if I want to find that, find the index of, let's say, y, it will give 1 as the output because y is at index 1. And again, here also we can use, you know, one argument, two argument, and three arguments that we have used in index method. Okay, so this is about find method. Then next thing is basically rfind. Okay, so rfind, let me try to add more characters here. Okay, so rfind. So rfind basically, let's say if I'm giving rfind of O, before that, okay, before rfind, let's find O. So find O, when I'll do, it will find the index of O, the first occurrence. First occurrence is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 index pe first O is occurring. So when I'll run this program, the output will be 6. Correct? Now what rfind do? Rfind will basically find the last index. Last index matlab from right hand side, right? So this is right hand side and this is left hand side. So rfind will basically towards the right, what is basically the last occurrence of that particular character is there, it will find the last occurrence. So O ka last occurrence will be 1, 2, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 8 should be the output when I'll run this program. 8 is the output. Okay. Similarly, okay, R find is there. There is no L find. We have next method is replace. Okay, you can see here. Find may only R find is there, and strip may there are L strip and R strip. Okay, next is join method.
You're on mute, Abhinav.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, let's see what is join method. So let's say if I have a list L equal to hi, hello, world, and I am using print, and print, inside print I'm using a, this particular string, and then I'm using join L. Okay. So what it will do is that it will join all the words, all the elements of this list, and it will basically join them by using @ in between. So @ will become as a glue for joining these words. So when I'll run this program, the output will be hi @hello @word. So @ becomes a glue to join these words. Okay. And uh, yeah, so this is about this is about the join method. Now, second thing is that let's try to use this on a string. If we can use a equal to hello is I am giving, b equal to word I am giving, and I am giving a result as print, and I am doing uh, as a glue dot join. I want to join a and b. So this way I can join two strings also, but those strings has to be passed as the element of a list before I can join them. See, hello world, I am able to join it. So A and B, which are a string, has to be passed as a tuple or list or set. So instead of list here, if I'll give tuple are represented by circular bracket. This will still work. And if I'll give set, then also it will work. So this is about join method. Now next is split method. So let's say I have a string A equal to hi, hello, Python. And if I'll basically do print A dot split, I'm doing this split. So by default, it will split this whole string. And by default, the split character will be space. So if I'll run this, it will convert it into a list. And each element is splitted by the space. So that is why it contains 3 elements or 3 characters. If I'll basically provide a specific character here, let's see what happens. So I am splitting based on H. So H ko it will anchor. So first will be the empty string, then second will be I and space second. Then again H is the anchor. So next will be ELLO and space till the next H. So this will be one character and then this will be the next character. So this is how the split works. Okay. This first character, we can give another argument here, which is max split. So if I'll run it, it is giving the maximum split index. So you can see it has how many indexes are present in this list: 0, 1, and 2 index. So max split is basically providing you the total number of maximum split indexes that can be there in a split. Okay. Okay, next thing is replace. So replace is nothing but to replace any character with any given character. So if I'll do A dot replace, and I want to replace all the H with J, let's say. So hi, hello, Python, wherever H is there, it will be H, each and every H will be replaced with J. Output will be this. Okay. Now, last 3 set of methods are strip, lstrip, and rstrip. Let's see what are strip. So let's say if there are some spaces in the starting and in the end, and I'm using a dot strip method. So by default, it will strip all the spaces from left hand side. I mean, starting spaces, not the between spaces, and ending spaces from the string. And your output will be hi, hello, Python with the stripped spaces from starting as well as from ending. Okay. And default character to strip is basically space here. If I will try to give H here, it will give some funny output. Okay, no. The thing is that if I'll give HHH here, and if I'll run it now, it will remove all the H's from starting and ending. So starting में we have H, so it is basically removed. Ending में we don't have any H, so that is why there is no change, right? You can see additional spaces are still printed in the output when I am highlighting this now. So this is about the strip. Now let's see about L strip and H strip. Okay. So L strip basically, okay, यहाँ पे let me write down some HHH also. ठीक है, okay. So when I am using normal strip, it will remove all the H's. And if I'll use L strip, it will remove all the H's from left hand side. If I'll run it, it is printing I, hello, and then right hand side H's are present. If I'll use R strip, it will remove from right hand side. And you can see left hand side H's are intact. So this is about a right hand side, and right hand side are known as, so right hand side, okay, so these are right hand side, this is left hand side. Right hand or RHS, right hand side को we call it as trailing spaces or trailing characters. And this is left hand side, LHS. LHS को left hand side को we basically call leading space. Now I am always confused in leading and trailing term. Okay, how to remember that? R RHS में word R is there, trailing में word R is there, so RHS means trailing. LHS में word L is there, and leading में word L is there, hence leading. So this is how you can remember LHS. मतलब left hand side means leading space, right hand side means trailing spaces or trailing characters. Cool. I think we are right on time. So Python string is covered. Next is Python list, then tuple, then set, then dictionary. And we have finished Python string. Okay, any questions, any doubt, any suggestions, any feedback, anything from your side, from any one of you? How's the pace of the teaching? How's the teaching style? Any suggestions, any improvement? Anyone from anyone? Yes, Sunny, you are.
Yeah, for me, I mean, it's good as of now. Uh, no any feedback I'm thinking about. It's going good.
Okay. Cool. Fine then. I think we are done with today's session. Next class, next weekend, we will be starting with Python list. And once we'll cover the Python list, we will have quick quiz, Menti quiz. Cool, guys. Thank you, guys. I think that's pretty much it for today. Have a happy weekend and happy Monday for tomorrow. See you next weekend.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.